Hello, and welcome to today's episode of Pros and Politics Podcast, where we are polished and poised for greatness and impact. My name is Kahala, and I'm your host. We're so happy that you chose to join us today as we talk about relationships and what happens, how to get it fixed after the love is gone. So with us today is someone near and dear to my heart, my wonderful Bishop Henry Phillips.
Hello, Lady Kahala.
Hey, Bishop.
How you
My
doing?
goodness. I'm so happy to have you with us today.
Well, I'm honored to be upon, and congratulations. This is state of the art, and you are doing it with pearls and politics. It's all good. I love it.
Thank you. That means a lot for 1,000 reasons that we don't even have to get into because you and Pastor already know. But I'm so happy to have you because, we've been talking for about a year about how you can come onto the platform and how you can share your knowledge and your love for Christ and everything that you're doing, only for you to come out with this amazing new book.
Oh, wow.
When the Honeymoon Is Over.
Absolute. Wow.
And just to give us some relationship advice, just to help us when we're in spaces and places that we're just like, Lord, I just don't know if I can go on.
Yeah. No, it's definitely an exciting time in my life. I've been doing relationship teaching for over 20 some years. Mm-hmm. Just celebrated 32 years of marriage. So I've learned a few things in life, and I've always had a heart for people, especially people of color, because at the end of the day, we have been impacted in the area of relationship strategically and intentionally. Mm-hmm. And it shows every day in the news, it shows in our community. And so I'm on a campaign to help with everything that I possibly can to help us to understand the gaps that's in our relationships that we think is complete and our way of thinking is holistic. And no, there's some gaps. And you don't want to wait till you 60 years old that you say, you know what, maybe I had some gaps. Maybe the way the culture that I grew up in didn't tell me all that I needed to know of how to build a relationship. And so when the Honeymoon Is Over book is when all the chemistry is drained and you're looking at each other and you're like, we are so different, and you go from loving each other to almost going after each other. So that's what we're doing. And I think those that have read the book have been really blessed by it and seeing some turnarounds in their relationship.
Well, we usually start the episode with how do we know each other, right? And so for anyone who doesn't know, because I talk about my bishop and my pastor, Pastor Patricia Phillips, all the time, my wonderful church, Power of Change, in Cahokia Heights, Illinois. But this is my bishop. And this is, you are the man of God that covers me, my husband, my marriage, my family, my children. He has been through all manner of highs and lows, mountaintops and valleys with me. And for you to say that you wanted to come on to my podcast and talk about your book and your journey in, like you said, marital counseling and your own marital journey was just really... it meant a lot to me. I told my husband, I was like, babe, Bishop said he want to come on Pearls and Politics and talk about his book.
So this is my first interview with the book. And so let it be said, it happened right here on Pearls and Politics.
That's right, Bishop. So let's talk about, you gave us some background about the book, but walk us through a bit of your own journey because your marital journey is a blessing. And to see it come 32 years later and you and Pastor are just such an inspiration. But like you tell us all the time, both in sermons and in seminars, it wasn't always that way.
No. It's almost like the 23rd Psalms, the way that David writes, he writes it so poetically. And then right in the middle of it, he said, okay, let me just stop. Let me be real with you. You know, he started off, the Lord is my shepherd and I shall not want. He makes me to lie down in green pastures and lead me beside the still waters. He restored my soul. He leads me in the paths of righteousness for his name's sake. And then he says, okay, let's stop.
Yay, though.
Yay. I'm walking in the valley. I'm going through some real stuff, you know? And that's what happened in our relationship. Man, when I first met Patricia, I mean, looked like the whole world just stopped. And I'm like, Lord, this is going to be trouble, you know? And she was a beautiful lady, and we just connected, and we got married 1991, March 23rd. And everything was going good in the first couple of months and what have you. Then all of a sudden, things just began to take a major turn. I mean, a major turn. Till about October, we were ready to seek for divorce. We was like, you know what? No, we thought we were soulmates. We're becoming more like cellmates. We're becoming jailmates. We were struggling because we recognized, here's the thing, that chemistry and compatibility is two different things. And we thought that chemistry
could do it.
You know, you can't have this kind of chemistry, and these are all the signs. These are all the signs that says we love each other, we understand each other, we here for each other, and what have you. But as time went on, after marriage, we recognized that we didn't see everything the same way, and our cultural approach to things were totally different. And we went to a ministry that dealt with inner healing.
Okay.
Now, let me tell you a story, because she says it best. I was in our bathroom, and she was in the bedroom. The bathroom is connected to the bedroom, and I was in prayer. And I'm just like, God, I can't do this. You know, this is, you know, I can't do it. And when I came out of the bathroom, I didn't know she heard me. I didn't think I was loud. And she said, am I that bad? And I said, what do you mean? She said, I heard you praying. I said, well, that wasn't, I didn't even know you was in the room and what have you. And I told her, I said, it's almost like your wound, you've got wounds, but it's not seen on the outside. It's issues on the inside. This is before inner healing became a pop culture word. And so I said, and I don't know how to address that because I wasn't the one. I didn't put that there. So I don't know where this came from. You'd be surprised how after you get married, that your guards go up, because now people are getting real intimate. You can no longer put on a facade. You can no longer put on a presentation. You can no longer look polished. You know, they see you with no makeup on, and that is both inside and out. And so we went to a teaching ministry that dealt with inner healing. And we began to recognize she needed healing in some areas of her life. I needed healing from the roots of rejection that I was wrestling with and what have you, and some pains that I had experienced in childhood, and the loss of a father at 8 years old, and what have you. And because we moved from personality to principles, is when we begin to see us say happy anniversary year after year after year. Yeah, that was a long way, but that's our story, and we're sticking to it. So, and we share that transparently, because people see pastors and they see leaders as being polished. No, we're not polished. We're perfecting, you know, just like you.
Absolutely, just like you.
But there are some answers. And that's the good news. There's some answers. You don't have to live in a marriage where you're living, but you're unfulfilled.
And so there are answers. And I'm happy personally, okay, to know that there are answers, because that story that you just shared is a story that many people share. It's all chemistry, and you got the butterflies, and it's just so beautiful, and you got your rose-colored glasses on, and then you don't, right? You get married and you have kids and mortgages and like all these other things, stress from work and just a million things that kind of like close in on you. And then it's not just the dating and the movies and the holding hands, walking in the park. And it continues and it spirals and it doesn't get addressed. And then it turns into something that, what do you say, when the honeymoon is over.
Right.
And so to be able to know that there are answers to that, and you're a living testimony, you and Pastor, to the fact that there are answers. But one thing, you actually have to want the answer.
That's the first thing. If I can interject, that's powerful statement. You're a great host, okay? You got this, girl. Listen, that's a great, because we decided we didn't want a divorce because that was typical in the Black community. You know what? I'm done. No, we too old to act like we junior high dating and what have you. So as a man, I took responsibility to say, listen, my marriage is hurting. If I'm gonna be the covering, if I'm gonna be the husband, then I need to figure out what I need to do to bring healing to the marriage. So I took the initiative. You need one, at least one, to take the initiative, and it would be great if it's the man. Usually it's the woman, but it would be great if it's the man. I started reading, because what happened in my situation, I went to mentors that I thought was mentors, pastors, because I come from a pastoral background, and they were old school. They was like, do you love her? Yeah. You love him? Yeah. Well, I don't see nothing wrong. It looked like it's all together, you know?
If it were only that simple.
If it was only that simple. And so I went to several, well, what did your pastor say? Well, he said it looked, well, I mean, I couldn't get what I really was looking for. And I remember talking to God and said, God, listen, I don't have anybody that can help me. And he said, read. He said, expose yourself. And I began to read on being a husband. Yeah, that's the Spirit of God. And I began to read on marriage. And I was blown away with understanding the gaps that I did not have and what have you. You know, where I come from is a spiritual background where you just cast out the devil and it's going to be all right. You know, the blood over her, stop, come out. And those were hurts and those were fears. And she's wrestling with trust. She was hurt in a relationship. Can I trust you? Are you consistent? Do you have real character, or is just personality and what have you?
Consistency and character.
Consistency and character. That's what she's looking for. And do you really love me, or am I a trophy? You know? And so I had to pass through all of those tests. And as I began to read, it began to help me to understand how to relate. The Bible says to know your wife. And it's not just talking about intimately, but her personalities. And so I began to understand personality traits and the difference between her and my character. The more knowledge I got into, the more it helped us. Now, here's the funny part, because I was willing to study at the time. She was just like, you know what, men, you know, always trying to change a woman, you know. And so what I would do was I would get books and I would just put it on the dressing table or somewhere like that.
Little subtle hint.
Just a little, wow, look at what's here, you know. And she would read. And it began to open up our conversation. It began to help us to understand. She said, is that what you're trying to say? Is that where you're coming from? Yeah, you know, and I said, and I believe I'm understanding why you do what you do. Okay. And it began to bring us into a greater intimacy, tear down the walls, open up our dialogue where it was a safe place and she's not interpreting me to try to be manipulative or controlling or anything like that. So you've got to be willing to change. You've got to be willing to learn. You got to be open. And that's the reason why we do seminars and conferences and what have you, because we're hopefully trying to empower people with knowledge of what makes marriage and relationship work.
The power of change. So consistency and character.
Yes.
That really is big. And it's big for a lot of women.
Yes.
Consistency is key. Like, we don't need you to be one person today and then somebody else tomorrow. We don't need you to be one person in our face and then we're not around you somebody else.
Yes.
Like, and then character is important. No one wants to be with a person that doesn't have integrity.
Yes, absolutely.
You know, that's name is mud and dirt out here in these streets or belongs to the streets. Nobody want that either. Okay.
Right.
And just the fact that you all were able to educate yourselves and then communicate. I think, the Bible tells us, because when there's a lack of knowledge, the people perish.
Yes.
And people think physical death all the time, right? It could be the death of your marriage, your finances, any other familial relationship, the death on your job, because you don't go to work on time or whatever the situation may be. And so the fact that you all were able to find the knowledge that was necessary, not optional, not when I get around to it, but it's a spirit of urgency is what I heard from you. And then to educate yourself, and then for you all to start communicating based on what you knew.
One of the greatest knowledge that we learned was ourselves, because we deal with the DISC personality system. D personality is a direct personality. I is influential. The C personality is correctness. The S personality is sentimental, and what have you. And a lot of times we treat people or relate to people based upon our personality instead of really getting to know theirs.
I'm guilty.
We all are.
I'm guilty.
We all are. And so what we've learned was every personality has a perception that's totally different than each other. So every personality has a perception that creates a passion that motivates a practice. And so when we begin to understand, so you ain't trying to be funny, that's really how you are, and that's how you think. And the more I understood my personality, I started laughing because, you wasn't going off on me. You told the truth about me and what have you. And it helped us to balance. That was one of the key things. Okay, all right, I'm being too, I'm an I personality, so I'm just the life of the party and what have you. She's more of a DC personality, so she likes things in order and everything like that. Well, I like that too, but let's have fun while we're doing it. And she wants to have fun, but is this thing organized?
I love
have you
it.
thought 3 things in? And I'm like, it was just the idea,
Right.
But she had to now learn herself. And a lot of times we wait so late in life before we really learn, maybe I'm approaching this wrong. Maybe I need to be more sensitive to other people's thoughts and feelings and what have you. Again, everybody is wrong and we're right. That's how we had to be like that if you're gonna be in the streets.
Right.
I ain't studying you and I don't want to hear what you got to say. So we shut down anybody that don't say loving and affirming things to us. But what happened is this: when we begin to understand ourselves, then it helped me to understand how to approach her, how to relate to her, how to interact with her. I'll tell you another funny thing. I bought, when we were dating, I bought her a rose. And I put the rose on the chair. Well, I was in the car, in the passenger seat. And she was getting in the car, she grabbed the rose and nicely placed it in the back and said, "Let me tell you what all happened." I can't breathe because, I just did a Casanova move right
you
there.
done threw it to the back seat.
Yeah, she just nicely put it in the back and let me tell you what happened, everything. And I got to the stop sign and I couldn't take it anymore. I said, do you realize I just gave you a rose? Oh, baby, I'm so sorry. I wasn't trying to be funny and everything like that. And she educated me. She said, you know what? Thank you for the rose. She said, but in this season, that's not my passion. Mm-hmm. She said, doing a task is my passion.
Absolutely.
What have you? Well, we didn't know 5 love languages at the time.
Right.
You know? And so when she did a task for me, I somewhat appreciated it, but I sure would have loved words of affirmation or physical touch.
Yes.
We're coming into knowledge of understanding we are uniquely and fearfully made. Mm-hmm. And when we celebrate that, our relationship becomes soulmates.
So I think for my husband and I, it's like the rose situation. Yeah. It's been a running thing for 11 years. We have a 20% box and an 80% box. Yeah, and so that in that season was in her 20% box.
Exactly.
And you have to know like which box, like you said, the love languages. Mm-hmm. Some people are physical touch and gifts. Then some people are words of affirmation. But again, educating yourself on the languages, on whatever, on personalities, and then being able to communicate that. Mm-hmm. But like you said, it's usually that one person at first, but at some point that other person has to join. Mm-hmm. Because if they don't, one person cannot work on, fix, or build a marriage.
Exactly.
So all those things that you just said, are they in the book?
For the most part, yes. They are right there in the book that will help you to fully understand the knowledge. I salute you in all of your degrees and the knowledge and the doctoral and what have you. And you invested in yourself. And that's what I am saying here. We have to invest in the area of relationship. The movies listen, in a few minutes, y'all gonna say cut. And everybody's gonna go to their real life. Uh-huh. That's how it is in the movie. Or they show this romantic, don't you love when everything is blowing up and they can find time to kiss? Uh-huh. You know, that's just, wow.
Like, y'all better start running. What are y'all doing? Yeah.
Exactly. It's the movies. The movies are not telling you the truth about how to relate and how to deal with life and how to be there for each other and what have you. Let's get the knowledge. Mm-hmm. Let's stop our world. Let's stop the chemistry. Let's stop the clubbing. That ain't it. You don't know him. You don't know her. Let's get the knowledge so we can be better equipped to relate once we find somebody where it can be until death do us part. Yeah, it's in the book. It's in the book.
So who is the book for? Because, a lot of times it's not just for the challenged couple. Yes. It could be for the happy couple to never find themselves challenged. It could be for the single person. So they know what to look for when them suitors come calling. Oh, no, I see that red flag from here on. You're not finna rope me into that.
Right, right.
So who is the book for? Is it for everybody?
Yes, everybody. You said it best. It is I have singles that have been buying this book and they are preparing to do book clubs. As well as couples. Yeah. As well as couples.
Book club. I'm trying. Okay.
Come on. This summer, we're going to do a book club out of this. And because it's something that we love. We love relationship. We love passion. And so getting the knowledge is all the more exciting to now say, I know how to make a relationship last and what have you. So yes, it's for everybody that is interested in relating.
So how do we get the book? I mean, I have mine, but for the rest of the world.
Sure,
mine,
Sure. You can definitely go on almost every site online. Amazon has it. Walmart has it. All of them online you can go to, and the book is right there. And on next week, which I don't know when we will be airing, but we're going to be doing a book signing, and we're going to have a bunch of books there at the book signing. So it's going to be awesome. Get your book. Get your book. It's going to change your life.
So tell us, when is the book signing?
Yes.
And where?
The book signing is going to be at Power of Change Christian Church. It's the church that I'm honored to be lead pastor, and it's going to be a great service because it's going to be Relationship Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be Relationship Sunday, and I'm doing a special production that's called Water to Wine. So we're going to have a bed on the stage. Lord Jesus, in the
Jesus,
church.
help us all in the church.
We'll have a bed on the stage, and we're gonna talk about how to turn water back to wine in your relationship. And then right after that, we're going to be right there in the vestibule doing book signing to sign your book and to let you know that I believe in you, I believe in your relationship, and let's take this journey together. Yeah.
So that's going to be Sunday, April 23rd of 2023.
Yeah.
Services start at 10 a.m. at Power of Change.
Yes. Power
Church?
Change Christian Church. Absolutely.
Yeah.
2348 Jerome Lane.
That's where I was leading. That's right.
Come on, hang out with
In
us.
Cahokia Heights, Illinois.
Yeah.
Well, I'm so excited for you, for Pastor, for my wonderful church. And when I tell you my bishop knows what he's talking about,
Amen.
I know. He knows what he's talking about. And my husband and I, we thank God for you and Pastor Pat for Power of Change. Like I said, you all have brought me personally through, us personally through many things. And not obviously always like challenges in life, but just even in the happiest of times, our pastors are always there for us.
Yeah.
And I'm just so excited about the book. Because like I said, 32 years of marriage, and to have gone from, what did you say, from water into wine.
Yes.
And then the thousands, not the hundreds, but the thousands of people that you have ministered to, lives that you have touched, and people that you have blessed. I'm not in any way surprised that this is your next step, and it's going to be a New York Times bestseller. We just going to put that out there into the atmosphere from my lips to God's ears. And I know you and Pastor Pat already done prayed on it.
Absolutely.
So, but I'm just so happy.
Thank
and
you.
I just love you and Pastor so much. Words can just never express.
Thank you. No, you have been a beautiful, precious daughter to our destiny. And again, you and your husband, we're so godly proud of you and how you all are impacting your generation. And you're passionate. You have a mission in life. And that's the reason why we are coming alongside. Everybody has a coach. Michael Jordan has a coach. Everybody has a coach that is helping the big picture. And so we are happy to be a part. And one more shameless plug, if it's okay, this fall, the Lord say the same. And we believe that all will go. We're going to have one of the most incredible marriage conference in St. Louis. Yes, it's called We're Better Together Marriage Conference, and it's open to individuals and couples. And we are putting things together. We're trying to get some star-studded people to also be our guest speakers out there. And we've got some surprises that we're working on. That's going to be in October 5, 6, and 7. You don't want to miss it.
I don't want to miss it.
Registration is coming real soon.
I don't want to miss it. I don't want to miss it. Well,
awesome.
Thank you, Bishop. Well, I'm excited about that. And I'm sure that is just going to set the church on fire to hear that we are going to have a whole conference, seminar, not just, a daily workshop, but absolutely and put them kids somewhere.
Put them somewhere.
And go be with Bishop and Pastor. That's somewhere.
We're going to have a jazz and comedy night. It's going to be off the chain.
It's going to be off the chain. Well, thank you so much, Bishop, for everything and for coming on. And like I said, I was so excited to have you. Will you come back?
Please invite me back. Yes, I'll come back.
Okay.
Awesome.
Okay. We'll find many other things to talk about to be able to provide pearls of knowledge to the people.
Absolutely.
All right. Thank you so much. And thank you for tuning in today to Pearls and Politics Podcast, where we are polished and poised for greatness and impact. We hope you enjoyed today's episode and that you'll join us again next week. But in the meantime, please like, love, share, and subscribe. And we'll see you next Friday. Take care.